Rainmakers. Priyan here, back on the mic, back on the grind, and most importantly, back with you. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. From Winston Churchill himself. So here I am, back with you. And first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you to those who reached out to me, asked me where the videos were and checked in. It truly meant a lot to me to sort of understand that people out there are viewing and seeing what I show. And it showed me, more importantly, that we have a connection, which is not just virtual, but it's real, it's felt, and it matters. I want to speak to you honestly today from the bottom of my heart. I've had a change in direction recently. I've been working behind the scenes, trying to structure things more professionally, speaking to companies, looking at business ideas, and really trying to align my message with my mission. But in that process, I do apologize. I took a step back from the thing that gave me the most connection and momentum, talking to you. And that's what this episode is about: momentum, habits, and the art of showing up even when you're evolving. I want to be real to you. I thought I had to pause to move. I thought I had to stop in order to reset. But here's the truth. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going. Sometimes in life, we overthink transitions. We wait for the next phase to complete before we keep moving. But the lesson I've learned is don't wait. Just like I did the podcast and I started it raw as it is, bookcase is looking much better than it was. Just keep going. Growing doesn't mean you have to stop what you're working at. In fact, when you're doing good and you're on a roll, that's when you should double down. So for example, in real estate, you've got hot buyers, offers are coming in, things are flowing. And what do most people do? They ease off. Fewer viewings, fewer callbacks, fewer videos, because they can see that they just take it easy. What could happen is, yes, those deals could come through. Fantastic. However, if you had doubled down and if you had carried on making those calls, making those interactions with the sellers as well, doing your videos and marketing and stuff, at that exact moment, it's better to go harder because your energy is high, your vibe is right, your flow is strong. And that's when the universe responds to you the most. So use that to go forward and propel and to do even better. When do we use it? Because human psychology and the way we're built as humans is that when we're down and out, when we've got nothing, when we're zero, then we stand up and fight and go for it because of a flight and fight situation. However, think about it. Yes, of course, when you're in the doldrums, fight and flight and double down. But when you're on a high and when you're actually flying, that's the time when you make those calls and you sort of think to yourself, I'm doing well. This person needs my help. As opposed to, hello, sir, how are you doing? It's Priyan here from Rainmaker Realty. I was just wondering, no, he's going to put the phone down on you. However, if it's, hi, it's Priyan here from Rainmaker Realty. I've just agreed a deal at such and such and such and such, and I'm looking to find a client in order to do this, this, and this. The energy, the enthusiasm, the positiveness is there. You can change it and make it false. So therefore, when you are down in the doldrum, you can create the impression that you are on top of the world because everything is just a mindset. So don't wait for opportunities, create it yourself. That is a quote from George Shaw. Now, what I'm not saying is don't take breaks or reflect. I'm not saying not to. Of course, you should take breaks and reflect at your achievements and what you're doing. But what I've realized, that alignment doesn't require you to pause. It doesn't need you to sort of like stop. and give yourself a pat on the back and then take it easy. Sometimes it just needs intention. And speaking of alignment, let's talk about Lent, the Lent challenge. So today is April the 17th, 44 days without drinking. Yes, 44 days. And to all my rainmakers out there who took the challenge with me, I think there was 15 of us in the end. I believe it was 6 that gave up alcohol, 6 that gave up chocolate or sweets, and 3 of them gave up cigarettes. Everybody has done fantastically well, and we've now come to the final day. At first, I would say it was just discipline, but by the end of it, it just became a revelation. I just realized that many habits were built around the emotion of events, like, for example, habit in terms of playing golf and then drinking, coming home after work and then drinking because I'd had a hard day, going to a party and drinking, having dinner and drinking. God, it sounds like I'm drinking all the time. If it wasn't for work, I'd be drinking then as well. But yeah, number one, what I would say is that, don't do your vice, whether it be drinking, smoking, or eating, just because it's an event. Do it because you want to do it and you enjoy it. Don't do it as a habit, as an event or outcome, or don't do it as an emotional thing. Because once that emotion and that habit gets attached to it, it's very hard to break. The reason is that you sort of finish golf, oh, habit, drink a drink. Come home from work, I've had a really hard day, I've worked hard, I deserve a drink, drink a drink. So it doesn't really help. And if you can notice these patterns, you can break them. How do you break them? With willpower, but intention as well, as I've discussed in other podcasts. Replace it with something. Don't try and eliminate it and stop it. Replace it with having a tea, going outside and having a swim. So therefore, it breaks the habit. But once the habit is removed and the trigger is removed, then it was sort of easy to give up alcohol myself, because I was reclaiming my clarity. I am so much more energetic. I have so much more sort of desire and urge to do things. When I go out, even if I normally go to bed around 9:30, 10 in order to wake up at 5 a.m., even if I go out late for a dinner or a party or something, and I come home at 11 or 12, I still tend to wake up at the time given at 5 a.m. Just because my body wakes me up and wants to be up, so I get up. But when I wake up and I look in the mirror and I'm standing there thinking, oh, I'm going to have a really bad head here, and I look up and I feel normal and feel energized, I'm like, wow, what happened there? I thought I went out last night. Yes, I did go out, but because I wasn't drinking, I'm still able to function and have the same enthusiasm and energy that I had in the morning or the days where I didn't drink. So, it's fantastic. Warren Buffett said, chains of habit are too tight to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. So change your habits, change the way you do things. I mean, I'm so proud of myself and also my Rainmakers in terms of the fact that we were able to, at the spur of the moment, no big decisions again, spur of the moment, like a kid. Sunday, Jen said, by the way, Jen's my wife, said, shall we give up alcohol for a bit? I said, why? What's the reason? She said, no, I just want to get a bit more healthy, a bit more clarity. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't really resonate with me. And I looked on the calendar and I could see that Lent was starting on Wednesday. Boom. I said, 40 days, let's not drink and do to Lent. So now I had a reason, I had a purpose, I had a date. And also then what I did was I let the world know, i.e. you, my Rainmakers, family, friends, everybody. So therefore I had accountability. I had my wife supporting me as well as a team. And as a result of that, we managed to accomplish this fantastic feat. Now, the reason I say it's fantastic is because since the age of whatever, maybe 13 or 14, been drinking, not all the time, of course, up until 18, drinking more. And as a result of that, I don't think I've spent more than 3-4 days not drinking, you know, just even a small glass of wine. But ultimately that all builds up. And so therefore, for me to do 44 days without drinking is a massive thing for me, and something that I am so proud of doing. Now, we did decide to buy a bottle of fancy wine in order to celebrate today. However, what I'm saying to you is what I'm going to practice. We are not going to open that bottle of wine today and have a celebration. Why? Because we're attaching then an event which has finished in order to have a drink. We don't have to have a drink in order to celebrate, even though the celebration in theory is the drinking. So it could happen, but it may not happen. But it's not the case of I'm going to drink because of the fact that I've been told that in order to reward myself, I passed my exam, I'm going to have a drink. I've accomplished this task, I'm going to have a drink. Now, in this circumstance, is actually accomplished the task of not drinking, so therefore drinking. But why should I drink? Because I've already conditioned myself not to drink for the purpose of drinking, for the sake of drinking. So that bottle of wine will stay on the shelf. If for any reason me and my wife feel like having a drink, because of the fact that we do want to celebrate, and we do want to celebrate with a drink, we will celebrate with a drink. But that's not because of, we may celebrate with a, a nice bottle of, I don't know, non-alcoholic beer. Anyway, the point of the story is that we're going to keep up our good habit. We're not going to just fall back into it. It's taken 44 days. We're going to tell you whether it takes 45, 46, 47, or 48 days. But ultimately, there is no set date now that we have in our mind to have a drink. It will just happen if it happens. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. The things that I improved on: sleep was amazing. Focus got sharper. And I realized that I didn't need to go to events to justify a drink, and I do not need to pause in order to pivot on doing things that I love. So where does that leave me? Right here, back on the horse, back in the game, and not just returning, but returning with intention. To all my Rainmakers out there who stuck with me, thank you. To the ones who fell off on their own habits during this time, get back on. To anyone out there waiting for the right time, this is it today, right now, right here. As we grow, we evolve. The message stays the same. Keep showing up, keep doubling down, and when you're flying high, it's even better to double down even more, because that is when the real magic happens. And remember this: we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. Let's make excellence our habit, guys. You know, you can do it, I can do it. We are on a journey together in order to be the best people that we can be. Have a great Thursday. One day till the weekend. And Rainmakers, I'm back. Let's ride.